everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the And I've Always Said That podcast. This is my podcast voice, and I'm Megan.
I'm Taylor.
I'm JoJo.
And I'm Nikki.
What is this, number 6?
Number
Yeah.
6.
That's
yeah.
2 hands.
Two hands.
We've made it, people.
Look, Mom, 2 hands.
Isn't that a song?
I don't know.
Because look, Ma, no hands.
We're the opposite.
With 2 hands.
We got 2 hands.
Yeah, episode 6. Today we're going to be talking about our college experience at
The
Fashion Institute of Technology.
We're going to be giving you the real honest truth about what it's like to go to fashion school, and if you're thinking about going to fashion school, kind of the epic highs and lows of high school football, if you will.
Definitely. And you have 4 different perspectives here, so you'll definitely get the inside scoop, the ins and outs. We're going to be talking about our crazy professor stories, what the culture is like, what the people are like, and some of our crazy experiences living in the dorms. So,
Do we have a lot to say?
yeah. So, right off the bat, we'll address the elephant in the room. Why haven't we talked about Outer Banks yet?
I have not watched it yet.
I'm never going to watch it. I'm treating it like Riverdale, where it's gone too far. I'm not watching it.
Well,
You
I
have
got
to watch it.
I got everyone the matching hats.
Yeah, and I love the hat. You know I love the hat.
We hyped it up on the pod. Now we're just not going to talk about season 3. I was so excited.
Nikki,
I'll watch it. I'll make it my mission to watch
Okay.
it this weekend. We also need to watch the new episodes of Dainty Jones and the Six.
Because we're recording on a Thursday.
So they're out right now, but we were working, and then we came here to do the podcast, and we unfortunately don't have unlimited hours in the day. So next week's episode, we will be talking about episodes
4, 5,
4
6.
and 5 and 6.
I think it's only 2 this week, or is it 3?
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think
it better be 3.
I don't think it's 3.
They're releasing it on a 2 to 3 episode basis, and
Well,
I think this week might be
have
a 2.
been fiending for episodes. I got everyone from work to watch it. I literally had my coworker text me before this, and she's like, "Did the episodes come out?" I'm watching right when I put my kid to sleep, and I'm like, "I think they came out."
I thought they would do like 3, 3, 3, and then finale.
That's what I thought.
I don't think
When
I
it's like
googled
3,
yeah.
2, 3, 2, 3, 2, 3.
When I
Something
googled
like that.
it didn't show
Quick
up
maths.
as 3.
Quick math.
But also, I thought it was because that's what you told it, and I just was like, "Oh, Nikki's the Daisy Jones and the Six connoisseur," so that I'm trusting.
I'm just
anything
talking
you
out of
say.
my ass.
Honestly, love lying.
Honestly, we love lying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, in case you were wondering, that is why we don't have any updates on our shows, is because we haven't watched them yet. But it's coming soon. I will be bullying Megan into watching Outer
Tune
Banks
in
season
next
3.
week, and we will all be caught up.
Yeah.
So you want to go to fashion school.
Dun dun dun.
So I guess to start, do we want to go down the line and say what we studied at school? And maybe why we wanted to attend the
Yeah.
Fashion Institute of Technology?
Yeah. So, I wanted to attend FIT. I think because I wanted to go to school in New York, obviously, but I knew that like I didn't want to go to a normal college, and I also wasn't like a design student. I went to the business school, so it was kind of like, the perfect place for that, because the business school is like just as popular and like renowned as the fashion school is. So I studied advertising and marketing for my associates, and then I studied cosmetic and fragrance marketing for my bachelor's.
I wanted to go to FIT. I think I was around 13 or 14. I was in my friends era, as you are when you're 13 or 14. And Rachel Green on the show is famously a buyer at Ralph Lauren. And I said, I want to do that. So when applying for schools, I applied to 2 schools. I applied to FIT and Oneonta. And Oneonta is a SUNY school upstate that has a program that allows you to do 3 years there and then your last year at FIT. And I only applied to those 2 schools because I knew that I'd end up at FIT eventually. That was my number 1. That was my top school. So when I was applying to FIT, I was like, FBM. That's the major of fashion business marketing.
Oof.
That's the major to be a buyer in.
Mm-hmm.
I could not find where to apply to be an FBM major. So then I applied to be advertising, marketing, communications, and that's how I ended up studying AMC for 4 years.
I have never known that story.
Really?
I tell everyone that story. I couldn't find where to apply for
You've
FBM.
never told any of us.
So I applied for AMC.
I also would have hated you if you were an FBM
That's
girl.
how I ended up with my advertising, marketing, communications degree.
Okay, I thought I applied for FBM and I applied for AMC, and in all my in all the early, like, when you post in the Facebook groups to be like, "Hi, my name is Taylor. I'm from here," and in every single one of them, I applied to be FBM, not
Was
AMC.
it that confusing?
I guess, but I wanted to be an AMC, but I just said that I was an FBM. I have no clue why.
I'll save this for like my story about like my major. But when I applied, because it's a SUNY school, so you have to go through the SUNY application system, and I was actually a glitch in the system when I applied for my associates, and it put me, because I got the confirmation email that I went for the right degree.
Mm-hmm.
But then I got another confirmation email. The system glitched and put me as an applicant in the weekend program for part-time students.
Oh my god.
So I had to call SUNY
Mm-hmm.
and beg them to fix it. And they were like, "We fixed it. Don't worry." And they never sent me a confirmation email.
Well,
I was riding on their word alone.
I guess it worked out for the best.
Yeah.
You got in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think we can kind of kick it off with some pros and cons. General pros and cons. Nothing too specific. That'll be deeper in the episode. But
Oh yeah.
does
It's
anyone
a rose
have?
and a thorn
Yeah.
of the 4 years at FIT.
So one good thing, one bad thing.
Yes.
Good thing is it was a very, like, I feel like the word safe space is so like overused, but it really was like I felt very comfortable like coming into my own skin, and like I felt like, you know, I was, I guess, strong enough to think that no one would judge me for the things I was wearing and what I was doing. And, you know, I just felt really comfortable to just kind of like be myself. And I didn't feel like I had to like fit in anywhere, even though part of this episode we will quite literally be putting people in boxes.
Yeah.
Telling everyone where they fit. But in general, I feel like I didn't have to, you know, kind of like be a certain kind of person. Con, the worst people you've ever met go to FIT.
Yeah.
Except us,
Excluding
obviously.
current company and our other friends that are possibly listening to the pod. We love you. If you're not our friend and you went to FIT and you're listening
You
to
were
the
the
pod,
worst.
go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, both a pro and a con. The thing is that you could either meet the best people at FIT or literally the worst people you've ever met in your life. And it was sort of this juxtaposition of everyone could be themselves. Like, you weren't worried, like, am I being perceived as weird because of what I'm wearing or whatever? Because everyone was wearing weird stuff. Some people did it on purpose for shock value to go to class. But then you got a certain flavor of girl who the second she walked by you and gave you a certain look, it's like all over again, you know, the clicks. So it was funny because, as Nikki said, like, people are they're outside of like normal boxes that you would have in high school and college, and then they like have re-entered into FIT boxes.
Yeah.
Yes. Like every, you know, like in high school, it's like the jocks and the nerds and whatever, and then it literally becomes like the Long Island Michael Kors girls and like the design
skater
students,
boys.
Yeah.
the skater boys. Yeah. So it is really interesting in that way, and it's kind of what I was saying is like the worst people you've ever met, because it's very cliquey, and like it, in my perspective, it was like the friends that I made orientation week of freshman year are the friends that I was friends with all throughout freshman year. And I just got lucky, like, you know, meeting all of you guys. But I feel like for the most part, it's like you make your friend group right away and no one is willing to socialize out of it.
Once I moved off campus, I would stack my days. So I'd do like really heavy Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And if I did not have a class, I was back in the apartment.
Yeah.
and say I had like an hour in between, like, yeah, I was at the dining hall, but I was like getting lunch with people from my class. So it was like definitely who had the next class with me. So it was definitely strange to make friends. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
What was your rose and thorn, Megan?
My rose was 100% the dining hall curly fries. Did you guys ever take part
didn't.
in the FIT dining hall curly fries?
I never had.
Oh,
them.
yeah,
They
I
were
did.
delicious.
Oh, they were the best.
We need to go. We're
Yeah.
gonna have to take a field trip to FIT. I still have my ID.
Same.
Don't take it away from me.
You know they have the stickers on them with the semester and the year.
I took mine off.
I'll just put my thumb over it.
Okay.
The sticker, it's stickers. They come off. I peeled mine off.
Whatever you say, queen.
I still use my FIT ID to get student discounts.
I'll take out my DARS audit.
the doors.
They can't prove anything.
True.
So yeah, that would be my rose. That would be like my comedical rose. If we're getting serious for a moment, I'd say my actual like rose that has to do with attending the school was I really like their study abroad programs. Me and Nikki met studying abroad. So that was kind of one of the things that I really wanted to do when I found out FIT had this one particular program, and I did it. So that would be a rose. And then a thorn, I'm trying to think. I guess it would just kind of be, because it's a commuter school, if you have a free second, there's nowhere to sit down.
No,
Yeah.
there was nowhere.
Those
to sit.
commuters are
No.
parking themselves, and they are not leaving for anything. You want to go to the library? Too bad. You want to sit in the dining hall? Too bad. You want to sit in the breezeway?
Forget it.
About sitting in the
Especially if it was
breezeway.
sunny and hot.
Oh, forget the breezeway. Forget the breezeway, especially if it was flea market day.
Oh, yeah.
Or even the windowsills. You know the windowsills in the
Yeah.
building?
Oh,
where
yeah.
the sun would hit it just right? Forget about sitting
Yeah.
there.
Nope.
Yeah. I mean,
Or
this-
if they had
yeah.
like a random free like acai bowl come to,
Oh, you're done.
you were not getting
Yep.
anything.
There's a line down the block.
FIT people love free shit.
Mm-hmm.
as they should.
Mm-hmm.
Another one I just thought of, it could be both a pro and a con, is it's not a normal school. It's not a normal college. You're not getting the normal experience, which on one side, when I first went in, I was like, I don't want the normal college experience.
I'm not like other girls.
My unconventional minds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, the city is my campus.
Oh.
And
I think that's NYU's tagline.
No, that's
No, it's
LIM's tagline.
it's someone's tagline.
It's every
It's not FIT's tagline.
but
that
every
was FIT.
college-
That's what they
no.
said. They went, you don't have a normal campus, but the city is your campus.
Every single college in New York City says, you know, the reason why you're not going to a normal campus that's however many miles wide long is because all of New York City is your campus. You can roam free, and there's so much culture and art. And it's like, yeah, if you're into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the experience I had. I had a great experience, but I kind of wish I did get that party girl frat house experience. But honestly, knowing me, I feel like I would have gotten tired of it after a few semesters.
Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
always say we didn't go to real college.
Yeah, we really didn't. So if you're
Yeah.
going into FIT being like, I'm going to get a normal college experience, you're not.
To second that, though, a pro and a con, and it's something I knew walking in that ties back to that, is that everyone who is there, minus the girls who enter FBM because they like shopping and then drop after the first semester.
Just at Meghan next time.
No, I mean like leave the school.
I didn't even get the
period.
opportunity to go to an FBM.
Everyone there is really passionate about being there, and they really want to be there. So like, I knew I wanted to go to FIT from when I was 13 years old. I thought I wanted to be a makeup artist, and then I realized I only like doing makeup on myself and
Yeah.
not physically doing it on other people. And I found out about the cosmetics and fragrance marketing program, and I went specifically for that. Went to the pre-college
Same.
program.
I didn't go to the pre-college
I
program,
was
no.
I was like balls deep in FIT. And
That should be their new tagline.
when
Go balls deep.
oh, buck wild.
This year at FIT.
When you are someone who knows you want to go to fashion school or beauty school or whatever, chances are there's not very many people in your high school who are like that. So not that you're special, but you're kind of one of the odd ones out from that community that you're going from into FIT. So you come to FIT and suddenly like it's no longer your special interest. It's not what makes you unique because everyone is special there. Everyone's unique. Everyone's passionate. It fosters this super competitive environment where it's like you like fashion, I like fashion more. you want to get into CFM because you like beauty. Well, I like it more. So it was nice being surrounded by so many like-minded people who understood just how much of a passion that you could have for something to dedicate your life to it. But God, it was insufferable sometimes.
Yeah, just jump off that.
Piggybacking off of that.
The week I got my CFM letter, I don't know if anybody remembers that. I was stressing the entire week. I remember when I got it, I felt like a weight was lifted off
Didn't
me.
you have a stomach ulcer?
Yeah, I gave
waiting for
myself.
that?
I gave myself a stomach ulcer.
Oh my
got a
God.
stomach ulcer.
Well, I remember that because then I texted you and I was
Yeah.
like, I think I have a stomach ulcer. And I was like asking you your symptoms.
Yeah. Because I was so
Crazy.
nervous. I wasn't going to get in because they were like, we only accept 50 people. We get 200 and blah, blah, blah candidates. Like, I was stressing. I was like, I'm not getting in. I remember I called my mom every single night being like, what can I do? I guess I'll go into event planning. I guess I'll stay in AMC. I guess I'll do this. I guess I'll never be happy again. Like, that was...
You were quite literally me with the study abroad program.
Like, it was...
And you did both.
I don't know how you
How
did
did
both.
you do that? Just the stress of...
See,
Maybe that's why you had a stomach ulcer.
You
don't
probably
like-
actually had a stomach ulcer.
I actually didn't have a stomach ulcer. I thought I did though, but
Swallowed a camera.
I just don't like really. I mean, like I feel like I'm competitive about dumb stuff, but like that stuff doesn't really like get to me because I'm like it's out of my hands. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like it's just I'm just kind of going with it.
Yeah.
If I'm in, I'm in, and if I'm not, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I feel like I'm that way about certain things. With this, I was like, this is my future. They're fucking with my future.
They are.
I was like,
Yeah.
FIT, if I don't get it, what am I going to do? Nothing. I'll never be happy again.
It was really nerve-wracking because the CFM program specifically, there's not much information about it online. If you type in FIT, there's maybe one or two people who had vlogged it on YouTube from like 2016, 2015. And a lot of girls wanted to get into CFM, and not very many did when you think about it. So it was like the week of acceptances. It was over, I want to say, 2 weeks. It was all these girls popping up going, I got in, did you get in? And it was horrifying. It was scary. Because, I mean, I'm a big future girl, and I at that point, I had planned this for myself when I was 13. So it was like, if I don't get in, I'm going to apply every single year until I get in. Because guess what? They only took acceptances once a year in the fall. They didn't do spring like every single other major at FIT did. This specific one, the only one in the country at the time, only took applications once a year.
Yeah.
Also, the nice thing about your guys' program that the advertising marketing program didn't do, you guys got mentors.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure was like kind of helpful, which was also probably a rose and a thorn in itself.
Yeah.
It was during the pandemic, so I mean, not everyone got mentors when you are admitted into the program, you sit down, meet with whoever and say, this is what I think I want to go into, and then they like kind of, but not really, like pair you up your last semester with a mentor based on that, and most people didn't get mentors that were in the category or like general like department that they wanted, but my mentor was amazing.
I love my mentor.
So I wouldn't have traded her for anyone else.
I talked to her today. I work with her. I love her.
Do you have something to say about a mentor?
Not really. My mentor is great. I haven't talked to her in a hot second. I feel bad because we were like supposed to meet plans to finally meet up because we met during COVID and blah, blah, and she also doesn't live in the city. So we never have actually met in person. But I think it's like a great program for people who like don't have that one family friend who knows someone who will get you your first job, because I didn't. So yeah, I think it's a great program, but also like there are so many things about our program that can be fixed, the mentor program being one of them. But
I think we're different because we all had really good mentors, but I know a lot of my friends who were in the major had terrible mentors who like didn't even speak to them. Like they'd call and text and they didn't speak to them once throughout
That's horrible.
the however much time we had
because
them.
like you're willingly volunteering to be a mentor too.
Yeah.
So it's one thing if you get someone who, not that they can't help you, but they maybe can't give you as much perspective on something because they're not in the same like department or area that you want to be in. But to have them ignore you like that, it just hurts.
Yeah.
Like, I would vent to my mentor about everything. I'd be like, this kind of made me feel weird, like in a job interview. And
Yes,
she's
yes.
like, that should not happen. Like, never speak to them again.
Or like just going through all of our like projects with my mentor and being
Yes.
like, this is what my professor said and it's making me really upset and I don't feel like, you know, blah 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 blah, like getting an outside perspective on, you know, the things that we were doing in class was great. But yeah, I just feel like our college experience in general was, this was probably something we should have said towards the beginning, but we had like 2.5 years on campus.
Yeah.
And then we went home for COVID. So we got like full on in-person classes, like normal FIT, but also full on like
Remote FIT.
Yeah.
like transitioning to remote.
Peak COVID.
Yeah, so that was like really, really, really rough. I didn't really love online learning, and
There's also something else with FIT. Most of the professors are people from the industry, so they've all retired from the industry and came back to teach. So they are all
50 to 75 years old.
pushing 80 years.
Could not be older.
Couldn't be older.
And none of them knew how to work a computer.
I had a professor who was at least 85.
Yeah,
Oh,
I had
I know who you're talking about because I had her too. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I had a man, and he did not know how to use a computer. He would teach straight from the textbook from like the 90s.
Yeah. And it's like, that's part of their, I mean, I don't want to get too negative because we have a lot of really funny stuff to talk about.
And a lot of positives.
But they love to say, you know, like, we only hire people who have at least like 20 years of industry experience and these are seasoned professionals and blah, blah, blah. But it's also like, you're explaining Supreme to your professor. We were literally freshmen in the Supreme Glossier rain.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
horrendous. Horrible time to be at fashion school. But like, they just don't know.
Yeah.
That was like we had a professor who, I don't remember what, it was some sort of advertising or marketing class.
It's
He
always the
struggled
AMC professors.
using Google.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he'd pull up advertisements from something from maybe 20 years ago, which isn't relevant today. That's not how you advertise nowadays.
Yeah.
And he was like stressing the importance of mail-in advertisements.
Yeah.
I get a mail-in advertisement,
I'm
I'm
throwing it
out.
away. Yeah.
I quite literally could not care less.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like, it is, you know, it's great to have professors who are like, oh, well, my time at Vogue and, you know, I know Calvin Klein. It's like, that's really cool. Like, we had our one professor who, like, created the first, like, women's book club, like, before Oprah. And she had, like, her whole book club. Like, I called her Queen of the World. So she was, like,
Loved her.
really awesome. And that was, like, really cool. But it's, at the same time,
On
it's
the
like,
other hand, you have
you
the
know.
professor who can't use Google, and if I asked him who Charlie D'Amelio was, he'd probably blow his brains out.
Yeah.
He could not tell you who that is.
He
Yeah.
100% would have been like, who's that? Who's he?
what's TikTok?
Yeah.
I'm going to take that and run with it because most of the educators there, minus the gen ed classes and the liberal arts classes, because most of them did not go into teaching as their career with the like intention from the start of their days working that they wanted to teach. They're not in a teaching mindset. They're coming as industry professionals. And listen, I had a lot of amazing professors who their experience and, you know, advice was invaluable. But I also had a lot of professors who were coming as, you know, VPs, senior VPs, big shots from their industries into environments where they know that out of everyone in the room, they're the most powerful and they're the most successful. And there were a lot of professors who, you know, really capitalized on that. And they, you know, the second you walk in, I don't give anyone A's. This is like
Yeah.
you're working for me and I'm your boss, because that's what it's going to be like when you graduate. And it's something that when you are at college and you're in a class, you're there to learn. You're not there to constantly like fail and be treated like an intern. And like I said, I had a lot of really amazing professors, but that's something that really frustrated me with having industry people specifically is that some of them were ego first. learning second.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because they didn't know how to be a teacher. It's like some professionals like really can't be a boss because they like struggle at communication or delegation or whatever. Like a lot of them just couldn't be professors. Anyway,
Moving on.
let's bring it back up. Let's bring it back up.
Bring it on home.
Let's bring it on home, John B. So this is when we were like planning out this episode. I was telling the girls how like when I start talking about FIT to other people who haven't gone to the school, the first thing that I always want to talk about is like the kind of niches, if you will, the cliques that we were talking about. Is like, you know, how many different interesting groups of people there were at FIT, and how you were like somehow 1 degree away from like knowing literally every single person on the campus.
It was a pretty small school, but it shouldn't have been this small where you knew everyone.
And we literally just had a moment like when we were planning
Where I
this
was
of
like,
like,
do you know da-da-da? And you went, da-da-da?
of
And then
course
you
I
were
know
like,
da-da-da.
wait, is da-da-da the person that did this? And we were like, yeah. And you were like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone knew everyone at some, or everyone knew everyone's business.
Especially
Oh my
in
God.
your year. Like, I really, besides
Yes.
our year that we graduated, I don't know who you are from
And-
someone on the street.
Yeah.
And that's another reason why it's like, you know, again, the worst people you've ever met feeling like high school is because like everyone's in your business. But my personal favorite niche is the Long Island Michael Kors girls that were all fashion majors,
Cup of
fashion
coffee.
merchandising majors.
Oh,
Cup of
yeah.
coffee in their hands all times.
Yeah, I will say there is, you know, fashion merchandising is a program at a lot of other schools. So if you went to a normal college and you had a fashion merchandising program, they're the same type of girls. This program, fashion merchandising, attracts the same type of girl. And it's always just like, yeah, it's just like they're dressed in like, you know, their leggings and Ugg boots and their Michael Kors tote bag. They've got these insane fake lashes that like their cousin's girlfriend did for them for free.
That's so Long Island.
They know a girl.
That
Yeah.
is so niche, and it's
Yeah.
so correct.
Yeah, their hair's always up in a bun, and they've got like choppy highlights, the balayage, like
I'm going to say something. It's like if Christian Girl Autumn
was a fashion student.
was a student at FIT. Like,
Literally.
It was literally that flavor
Yes.
of person.
And it's like our advertising classes and in those fashion merchandising classes, there was a little bit of overlap. So it was like you had your normal advertising looking girls, and you could always
Oh.
point them out.
Yeah,
you could always point them
pick
out. It was So it was just
They
a
always
fun.
had the really big, the Michael Kors and the Louis Vuitton totes.
Yeah, it was just fun to just be like, we are so different. Like, no hate. They were doing their own thing. It was just really funny.
Get it, girl boss.
And they were always commuters. They always had a boyfriend at home who was the ugliest man you've ever seen. Ugh.
Yeah.
Speaking of boyfriends, if you're out there, Queen, and you're listening and you're trying to decide between
immediately
going
thought of
to
that.
your state school or going to FIT because you want to meet the love of your life and get married in college, unless you are a gay man, don't come here to find the love of your life.
Or unless you're a lesbian.
That too.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
FIT is for the guys and the gays only. Quite literally, and that's a
Yeah.
sentence that has never left anybody's mouth ever.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a woman seeking a man, don't.
You ain't finding
Yeah,
it.
You've got about a 0.006% chance of stealing a skater boy.
And if you find a man, he's the worst person you have
Oh my
ever
God.
met
Because-
in your
Mhm.
life.
Their egos are so so to give you a picture, the ratio of females to males were, I think it was 85 to 15.
I was just going to
Yeah.
say, I feel like
That
it
was
was
like ballpark. It
yeah.
was probably less than
And
that.
out of
definitely.
maybe 8% of that 15 was gay.
Okay.
I would
Exactly.
argue about 10 or 11%.
And the very few amount of straight men that were there, they were like rock stars because they were an anomaly.
Yeah.
They were
Mhm.
quite literally a sideshow attraction.
And they knew it.
And they
Yeah.
knew it. And oh my God, the egos on those guys.
They could have been
knew
the
it.
ugliest people.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
I would
matter.
love to point out that I was in love with all of them. As, you know, anyone around me knew, I was making it everyone's issue. And in the notes for this podcast, I wrote my 2 vices in life are One Direction's entire discography and FIT Skater Boys. Like, the way I knew every single one of them, I was like, they're so cool, but I can't, like, look at them or talk to them because I don't want them to think that I think they're cool, because I don't want, like, they don't need their egos to be inflated even more. Exactly. So it's like, I don't want to give them any attention. Not that they would give me attention anyways.
Also,
but yeah.
The issue with them was they're a hometown 5.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You went to high school with them, they're a 5. Yep. At FIT, they've become elevated to a 10 because everyone is so goddamn horny at that school.
Like, I'm sure they went home that summer after first semester and after first year, and they went, guys, I had so many girls. I was getting laid every day, and people would be like, why?
Literally, they throw on a pair of Jenko jeans and a Supreme beanie, and they're like, you have no idea what it's like.
And
like,
they had like
I could still hear those skateboards in my
music to my ears. Music to my ears.
The skateboards, I used to say all the time to my friends, these guys have class? Because they were always, it was just
no matter what time of day, it was the same 5 of them.
It was the same.
It was the same 5 of them just going up and down, up and down. And when they saw either a pretty girl or maybe a girl, one of the only girls who was walking, maybe it was like a really empty day, they would purposefully skate in front of you in hopes that you would like stop and talk to them or say something to them.
Or that they would almost hit you. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry. My name's blah, blah, blah. What's yours?
Yeah. And I'm also remembering too is that, so for anyone who doesn't know, FIT is like on 27th Street, and it's like blocked off to the public during the day. So it's like an open street, and the skater boys, you know, they don't have to worry about traffic. Like they can just skate wherever, like all day. And there's also a city bike station.
I forgot about that.
And I'm just now remembering about how.
Are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
Well, yeah, because you obviously know this person. So I'm just like remembering about this one time where all like the skater boys were out. I mean, like you didn't even have to have your window open from the dorm. You could hear the skateboards at all hours of the night. And I remember seeing Guitar Boy. That's all I'll say.
Guitar Boy.
Guitar Boy.
Put on concerts leaning up against the city bikes.
City bikes. While these guys were
I haven't thought about Guitar Boy since I was at FIT.
Yeah,
He lived on our floor.
Yes. We're gonna
time-
offline about Guitar Boy.
One time our roommate at the time flooded the washer, and she had to knock on his door, and he opened the door in his boxers.
Because he lived with the RA for some reason. Also, him and the RA were not friends.
Yeah.
They just lived together. So then freshman year, I did have to go ahead and make the 2 of them on The Sims.
Yeah.
I mean, I gave them a friends to lovers situation. on The Sims.
Normal thing to do.
I had to write fan fiction.
But yeah, I'm remembering like there was a city bike station, and it was he would sit out there and he would play his guitar, and some of like the skater girls, they would, if they were in like that friend group, which like I wanted to be them so bad.
They weren't like
they would go and
photographers.
Oh, the photographers, and they would go and they would sit outside on the city bikes while the guys all skated around.
The skater girls, first of all, they didn't even skate. It was
the skater groupies.
Yeah, they were skate
groupies.
adjacent.
They were skater groupies, and it was always the girls who would walk down to the no smoking sign, take out a single cigarette, and smoke in front of that sign to make themselves look cool. And I hate that it worked.
Yeah, it did. I wanted to be them so bad. I still do.
Yeah.
I still do.
Yeah.
But where are they now?
Probably doing something.
Probably not
cool.
making a podcast.
They were just naturally cool.
Yeah, they were all like 5'10" and
models.
Literally, like.
In case you can't tell, none of us are 5'10".
Yeah, but anyways, so that was my second favorite niche at FIT was the skater boys, of course.
It sounds basic. My favorite niche was the CFM girls. It was the girls in our major because we were all just so done. We were we were one of the few groups at FIT that had really clawed our way into the major, because there are a few majors at FIT that you cannot get an associate's for. It's a 2+2 school. It's a SUNY. You are required to get an associate's, and there's no offering for that. So you quite literally had to get a degree in something you didn't want to do to get to the next degree. And we would just there was no like trying to visually impress anyone. was very much like walking into a classroom and being like,
Everyone was in sweats and a sweatshirt.
exactly.
Rolled out of bed with
And
makeup on.
even with it being competitive and whatever, there was a certain camaraderie among us where it was everyone was just like, I'm here because I need to be here, and everyone else is, and we're getting that degree. And that's something that wasn't that common in FIT, because it was quite literally most people dressing to impress. It was people really trying to show up and show out, which is great for them, and I loved watching them. But we were just really worked to the bone.
Yeah.
Work to the bone. That'll go into my favorite niche, was the fashion design students
Oh,
who quite literally were worked to the bone, stayed up until 3 a.m.,
Shout out
starving.
to our former roommate, Kristen.
She would come in at 3 a.m. She'd be like, I haven't slept in 3 days.
They put
Yeah.
you through the ringer.
She's like, I'm living off of 6 shots of espresso right now. I'm about to have a panic attack, but also I have a class in 5 minutes, so I guess I won't eat for the next 5 hours.
Yeah, it was really sad, and it was also like when you tell people who are, like don't know what FIT is, and they just like assume that you're a fashion design student, and the way like fashion design students they quite literally looked like they all hadn't slept in like 5 days.
because they
They
did.
quite
were-
literally did.
Yeah, they were wearing like the same clothes, like they were miserable, like everything you would expect a fashion design student to look like, they were like the opposite.
They were like,
Yeah.
I need to go run to Mood. I need to go get my
my
fabric. I
needles,
need
my
to-
needles.
Yeah, I need to go get needles. I haven't slept in 3 days. I haven't eaten in 2 days.
I will.
By the
yeah.
way, Mood Fabrics,
The
the worst place in the
It's
world.
so hot.
It is so hot in
Is that a
there.
fabric
Yeah.
store?
I
Yeah.
had gone with Kristen a few times because she needed fabrics for a project,
Mm-hmm.
and when we were there, for some reason, we needed to be there for 45 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Aw.
Verge of passing out every time.
Oh, yeah.
Something happens to you in a mood where you need to faint.
You know, I have to say, I didn't have that many friends in fashion design. I had met some through the honors program. I had so much respect
Oh
for
yeah.
all of
Oh,
those
yeah.
students, because the school was quite literally conceptualized for them. It was the standout major. It was what FIT was known for. And I just felt like they had it so hard. I
Yeah.
wasn't even in the program. And I remember, speaking to some people or just seeing how hard they worked. And I'm like, should it be this hard for you guys?
As we had mentioned, the professors at FIT were definitely a colorful bunch.
Characters, if you will.
One of a kind.
People that you would never see in the real world. They just exist in the classroom.
No, they all left the real world and came to FIT.
Yeah.
You would go home from class and you would be, it was that last 3 hours of my life real.
Literally.
Disclaimer, if you're looking to attend this school, the professors there are great. You learn a
Yes.
lot.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. They're also some of the weirdest people you've ever met in your life.
Take everything we're saying with a massive grain of salt, because we're all 4 very opinionated girls. So,
We all
Yeah.
had great experiences, but we're just going to focus on the weird and negative ones for this one.
yeah.
But if you want to hear more about FIT, if you're wanting to attend, because
Yeah.
it's March, acceptance is coming at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Email us any questions you have or you'd want us to cover in a part 2 possibly.
Or a little advice
Or
segment.
advice.
Ooh,
You can
yeah.
comment it down below
Mhm.
or email us. Crazy. alwayssaidthatpodstories@gmail.com. Please email us.
We will answer anything. Like, if there's one
We
thing
love
we're dying
chatting.
to talk about, it's college.
We are quite literally in our DMs all the time. So,
Mhm.
or even just DM us. We'll DM back.
So the first professor that I would like to talk about is a guy who I literally didn't think was real and have met the first person who has actually had this guy, like besides me, which happens to be Taylor.
I did not remember this guy until you told him. And Megan went, that sounds a lot like your professor. And I went, I blacked him out of after that semester, I quite literally forgot about him.
Yeah, so he was an absolute lunatic. Like, I don't have the words to describe him.
He was just frantic.
Yeah, very frantic. I'm just like so at peace knowing that you know what he was like, and that I don't need to like do all of this to
yeah.
explain him.
Every story that you thought he told was fake.
Yeah,
It was
and
just
as
too
this-
much shit happened to him that
And-
you were like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
You're making something up.
And there's like a lot of it that is like very, very, very inappropriate to
And
talk on the
dark.
pod. Yeah, dark. So I will not be talking about that. But I did do a genius little thing. And about probably like a quarter of the way through the semester, I started writing down the wild shit that he was saying. So I wanted to share a couple of those with you today. Just a few. This is a list of over 30 quotes. And again, a lot of them are so horribly inappropriate.
30? 30?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And this was a quarter of the way
Yeah,
through.
like I didn't even get everything. So
Read on.
Apparently, they're also famous quotes because you were telling us some, and Taylor goes, "Yeah, he said that."
yeah,
Taylor
he's-
had him 2 semesters before you did.
Yeah. He's a little bit of a repeater. Also, one story about his life that I would like to say is that he weirdly lived in Trinidad, Tobago for a couple months and like kind of was isolated from his whole family and then moved right back when things weren't working out. So he said Little Red Riding Hood looks like a walking tampon.
He said that in my class.
Yeah. The constitutional
What Little Red Riding Hood?
I think
Was
we
there
were
a
reading.
specific
I think we were
photo?
reading a book about Little Red Riding Hood. maybe.
we were not reading books in my class.
We
and
were
again-
supposed to be reading a book. I think we spent 5 minutes. He'd be like, "All right, this is what happened in this chapter." We
And-
also 0 assignments. In
Yeah,
this
yeah,
class.
Huge thing we forgot to say is that this man was putting in fake assignments online and giving us all hundreds, coming to class, literally ranting about his life and telling his
He
stories
was
for
100% high. Like, sorry
Yeah.
if that's defamation, but you were 100% high.
Yeah, he was coming to class for 3 hours, speaking his truth and
And
leaving.
leaving.
So
He'd bring us cookies though.
yes, and that's a big part of this list has to deal with the cookies that he brought in. I can't go into depth about them and what he said about them, but yeah. So
Just
he
know they
said
tasted like drugs.
yes,
They were
Yeah.
addictive.
a certain drug.
They did
that-
not have drugs in them.
Yes, they were not. Yeah, they were not.
He
They
would
were
cookies
O's
with
cookies.
drugs.
He would open them in front of us. They were from a store.
Cookies that he would describe tasting like a drug that sounds like Rogaine, and that's all I'll say.
Rogaine, that was good.
Yeah, you know.
A drug that's whack.
Yeah.
I'm quick. The Constitutional Convention was just a pub crawl. Yeah.
Hamilton fan.
This is one of my favorites. There's this thing that you can do, and I try and do it about once a month. It's called the Are You a Psychopath test.
Yes, he always took them.
Yeah.
He would.
He
always
did one in the class. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
We made him take one.
Yeah. So he grew up in Oregon, and this quote says, "Everyone has beards in Oregon, even the women. They're just like, fuck it."
I also had him my first semester at FIT, and this was jarring. I was like, he's cursing in class. Like,
Mhm, yeah.
it was quite literally a jarring introduction to FIT and college.
Yeah. I'm gonna give you guys one more that is PG enough is life is too short to get yelled at for bad cantaloupe.
Oh,
Sounds
interesting.
like he's speaking from personal experience on that one.
Didn't say that one in my class, but
Yeah.
It was a fresh memory, apparently.
fresh.
But it was just so crazy because like I remember every single detail about him, and Taylor was just like, "Yes, oh my god, yes, oh yeah, uh-huh."
I quite literally blacked him out of my head.
We found photos of him.
We did find photos
Yeah,
of
I
him.
found his Facebook that hasn't been updated since 2009.
I did go ahead and find his Instagram, who had a tag photo from 2019, so we do have a more recent.
It's good to know he's still alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But moving on, would we like to talk about the first professor on this list?
Yeah. Did we all have him?
JoJo didn't.
What like class was this for?
I think I had him for advertising and promotion,
I
which
had him for
apparently
2
Meghan was in that
advertising
class,
classes.
and I
Yes.
don't believe her. But apparently Meghan and I had this class together with this professor.
I had it in the one that he showed the video of college hunks hauling junk.
Is it the one who looked like Austin Powers?
No.
Yes, I
What?
had. Yeah, I
He
had.
looked like Austin Powers.
Yes, and a bunch of people said it during the semester, and he literally addressed it. I had him for copywriting.
Yes,
Yes!
advertising, copywriting.
Copywriting.
Were
And I
you
got-
in our class?
So we have just figured out that we were actually all in the same class.
And we figured out that
Were you in that class too?
no,
me
I
and
wasn't
Nikki
in
had
that
it
class.
freshman year.
But we figured out that we were all in a different marketing class earlier as well.
Yes.
That's what we're saying is this school is too small.
Yeah, so I thought this guy looked like Austin Powers because he had like short, shaggy, brownish hair, the exact glasses. Yes, don't look at me like that because a bunch of
He
other
did.
people said it. And
He
This
did.
guy had gray hair.
No,
He
he
had
did
a
not.
chili
Okay.
pepper on Rate My Professor. This is probably why.
yeah.
I would like to flag that is the reason why I signed up for this class. Is I was under the impression that this was a chili pepper professor.
Were you?
He was not.
I loved
He couldn't
him.
be older. He couldn't be
I
older.
would like
No,
to
he
say
could've
I
been
loved
older.
this professor.
I
I
loved
loved
him
him.
for the fact you went in, you watched a video,
You left.
you made like a weird advertisement copywriting, and then you left after 30 minutes
and if,
max.
And if he hated it, your group would like get probably 20 or 30 minutes to come up with an ad with a headline and copy and stuff, and someone from the group would read it out loud. And if he hated it, he'd just look at you and go, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But the funniest thing that ever happened, because unfortunately, as much as we love him, I don't think anyone else besides us respected him in the class.
I
No,
Because
oh
in
my God.
mine and Nikki's class specifically,
Guitar Boy was in that class. I will point that out. Guitar
was
Boy
in
was
that
in that class.
but in one class, he really never kept us over 45 minutes.
Yeah.
We hit the 46-minute mark.
People would leave.
A girl got up and left, and he went, oh.
I guess class is over.
Oh my
And
God.
ended class.
That-
He was in the middle of
That
teaching.
that happened in our class too.
Did it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Guitar Boy was in our class, and it was like 46 minutes over. He was outside by those city bikes smoking a cigarette with his Dunkin' coffee. Like
gonna say the Lord's Dunkin' iced coffee.
wasting no time. Guitar Boy wasted no time. But
All I remember
Yeah.
from that class is that I found the news that the Jonas Brothers were coming back was announced in that
class.
Yeah.
huge.
And I remember because also it really never really took you the whole time to design your.
No, you.
So
we'd
you were-
take your
No, you
like
made your
5-10
design,
minutes.
yeah.
So I was on my phone. And I remember I went, the Jonas Brothers are coming back. The Jonas Brothers are coming back.
Huge.
Kind of huge, yeah. Yeah.
And so that's what I really remember. And the college hunks hauling junk video.
College hunks rate my junk.
Shut the fuck up. I did think it was college hunks rate my junk further. That's what came out when I was telling this story.
And Megan, you have one other really, really interesting.
Before I get into my really interesting story, I just want to touch on, did everyone use Rate My Professor when they were
Oh,
picking
yeah.
out their...
Yeah, I
So
used
if
and
you're
abused
listening,
it.
looking to go to FIT, use Rate My Professor.
I did not. I did whatever class I wanted at the time.
But also, you've got to take it with a grain of salt because I know they don't have a chili pepper anywhere, but sometimes you think you're getting a chili pepper and you don't.
I would
And
say
you are greatly disappointed.
just look for consistency.
Yes.
Look for consistency because also some people will give a professor 0, stars or the rating or whatever, and some people will give them like a phenomenal review, but they'll be saying the same thing. So don't go based on the review alone. Just look at the quality of whatever the students are writing. Look for consistency. That's what matters.
And something that I wish that I would have realized a lot sooner is that people who have a very average experience aren't going to write a review.
No.
The reviews that you're reading are from people who absolutely love this professor, or someone who absolutely wanted them dead.
Yeah, I
So-
don't think I ever wrote.
Marketing 101.
Yeah.
Any reviews.
You know what, you're
You
so
take
right
them
about
with a grain
that.
of
Yeah.
salt. We learned that day one in FIT.
You were
Yeah.
so right about that.
Our
So,
marketing brains at work.
yeah.
Unconventional minds.
Also, we've only touched on 2 really majors at FIT. There is a lot. If you're interested in going, you can go on
Yeah.
the website and find more. And we have friends who are willing to come on the podcast and talk about their majors if anyone wants to hear about them, and if you want a part 2.
It's funny because we're talking a lot about the cosmetics program, but most people I met at FIT didn't even know that existed.
Yeah.
They would say, what's your major? I'd say cosmetics and fragrance marketing. They're like, we have that?
Because everyone is like so focused on their own niche. Like, you know, they're focused on
jewelry design,
textile development. What the fuck is that?
They
you
have
know?
footwear. Like,
there
are so many niches at FIT and they don't promote it enough. I feel like you have the business school, you have the fashion school, and that's all you really know, but you don't know what those consist of.
Like such niche talents too.
Yeah.
Like crazy talented people. I'm like, you make rings in your major?
Literally.
That's cool.
Or like the design students who go into like evening wear or literally making like gowns. Yes. Yeah.
Or like sustainable fashion. I remember our roommate did that and she made a dress out of plastic bags.
I was in biodesign club for a hot second. Hot second.
Yeah, so definitely if you applied to FIT and you just did like the advertising marketing, fashion business, fashion design, whatever it may be, I'd say definitely take a look into what else they have and even maybe just take a class on it for a semester and see if you like it.
And if you're a high school student, the registration's a little hard to get into. You just got to know about it before it opens, but take a pre-college class. That was really helpful for me.
So before we go, I'm going to leave you with a story. It was junior year. First semester because second semester was COVID. So I had started this class, whatever. It had gone about 3 sessions. A little backing up before the 3 sessions. The first day, the professor's going over the syllabus. He's shooting the shit, whatever. He tells us, he goes, by the way, I'm never absent. If I am absent, I am dead.
Key detail.
Key detail. 3 classes have passed. And by the 4th class, I think it was a Monday, I think on Sunday we'd received an email like, class is canceled tomorrow. And we're like, okay, cool. I wonder what his story is. I wonder why he didn't show up. And it wasn't from him, which was weird. It was just like Blackboard notification. Like, hey.
Blackboard.
I forgot what that was called.
I forgot what it was called too. My English professor was posting fake assignments on Blackboard.
But... so it was a Blackboard notification. So then the following Monday, we'll show up to class, and the door's locked to the room. So we're all standing around. I had the class with someone we had studied abroad with, so I was talking with her, and we were like, oh, my gosh, what happened? Like, I wonder, like, he has to have a good story. Like, he's been pretty vocal. He's told good stories before, so we're like, oh, my gosh, he's going to have a great story. Like, this is going to be a riot. We get in. The head of the department unlocks the door.
Oh, no.
We all sit down.
Never good.
And we're all looking at her, and she goes, I just wanted to let you all know that your professor has passed away.
Oh, my God.
He said, if I'm ever absent, just know I'm dead.
That's the wrong kind of manifestation.
Not wrong. Unfortunately, we didn't realize it at the time. That classroom was a manifestation space.
It was.
I'm going to have to go back and do something in that room. But...
so what happened? You just got a new professor?
Within 5 minutes, class is over. We have attended the 5:10 class. It is now 5:15. It's time to go. So then we leave. We come back the next week. And at this point, then I think we had like a day off or something. So we had missed a class because Monday classes always go a week later than the rest of them.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Monday holiday we had, but it was a Monday holiday. So we had off. And at this point, it's week 6 or 7. We have a new professor. We're starting syllabus week that week. And she was kind of mean. She had no sympathy, and that's my story from that class. So moral of the story, don't tell someone if you're ever not going to be there. It's because you're dead, because you might die.
True.
Nikki and I had not like similar. Our professor did not die, but it was literally the COVID semester. So it was the half semester when we were in person, and it was a class that was outside of our major, like major adjacent, that we had to take. And this professor was so
Wasn't
cool.
it product design?
No, it was a packaging class.
That's what I meant.
You weren't in that class, right?
You were
I was
the
in
one.
the other one.
Yeah. And this person was really cool. Everyone really liked this professor, seemed really chill. Should have known something was up when we had a field trip that this professor did not show up to.
Field trip was week 2.
It was week 2.
Where
and
did
it
you
was
go?
Arcadia.
Arcadia Earth.
that like
that exhibit in Soho.
it was like an AI.
It's
or
like a
a
sustainability
or VR
thing.
Yeah, it was a sustainable pop-up museum thing. Fully did not show up. Emailed us going, I'm gonna be late. I'm on the train. And then about 20 minutes later, never mind. Don't wait for me. I'm actually not coming.
I don't even think she said I'm not coming. I think she said
Go without me. I won't be
yeah,
there.
I think she said like
Go without me. I'm not coming.
Yeah,
Go
I think
without
she
me.
said like I'm running really late, and all of us were like, all right, well, like the sooner we go in, the sooner we can leave. So we
Yeah.
all just like went in, and by the time that we all got out, we were like, did you see the professor? And everyone was like, no, did
Yeah.
you see? No, I didn't see her.
All I
And then we just
remember
left.
was that this professor sent us an email saying that they were literally on the train
Mm-hmm.
on their way, and then had double emailed saying never mind.
She had sent that hungover from her bed.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%. So I can't remember exactly what week was the COVID lockdown. It was probably almost halfway into the
Yeah.
semester because it was March.
March
like
17th.
the middle of March 2020. Yeah, I went home on St. Patrick's Day.
Mhm.
Probably
And
about
the
a
city-
year ago.
And
Not
it was
a year ago.
It was eerie because the city was dead asleep the day I moved down to St. Patrick's Day. That was scary.
Mm-hmm.
And we walk into class. Not a professor in sight. We're sitting there for, it was a while before someone came in. I think someone actually like went to the department to be like, do we have class today? Like, can we just leave? Because there was
Was
also
there one kid who goes, after 15 minutes,
Yeah.
you're legally allowed to leave?
I was that kid.
yes, but it was
I was so that
Guys, it's
kid.
been 15 minutes. We're legally allowed to leave.
Mhm.
and someone from the department ended up coming in, and she was like, this is so unprofessional. I can't believe she would do this. The department has not heard from her. She quite literally ghosted all of her students, everyone at FIT, and they had to find a new person to teach us who already had like a bunch of other classes.
Well, didn't my professor take over
No.
for it?
No.
No, the head of the department took over.
Or like one of the heads did, and she was great. But so the week that happened was the week we were sent home. So we had to restart the semester halfway through and on Zoom for a major adjacent class that we had no experience in that was all physical.
Yeah.
So that was my professor ghosting story.
Yeah.
My professor actually ghosted.
Did you have to do the
Bit of
project
flex.
on Halsey?
Yeah.
Harshey.
That
Yeah.
was my favorite project I've ever done to this day.
We had to do packaging for if Halsey launched a skincare brand, and just
And then
know it
she
was
did.
Well, it was makeup.
Well, that's the
The year before
That's
that,
the
did Lady
rumor.
Gaga's.
yeah. And then the year after us, it was Harry Styles.
Yeah.
So it's like there's someone somewhere who knows something that probably plants the seeds in our head,
Yeah.
shows all of our projects to some team, and is
Free
like,
labor.
yeah,
Yeah.
and is like, what can we? I mean, because there's no way. And I also feel like I heard Dua Lipa as well. Like one of the years might have been Dua Lipa. So I mean, there's no way that's just a coincidence. So I promise you, they were probably showing some of the top projects to like people who were creating this brand.
Well, we also
For
had
sure.
people in the industry, like as judges.
yeah.
We were presenting to.
Industry professionals who
Yeah.
were still working.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt in my mind that there's, someone there who either knows that a celebrity has an interest in that and waits until they get the students' work, or maybe they come and pitch it, because without fail, at least I'd say the past 4 years, it's like clockwork. Like
Yeah.
this class produces the project, and within the next year, that celebrity comes out with the exact brand or adjacent line of
Yep.
products that was the assignment.
Yeah, it was literally Halsey, Harry Styles, and then, Lady Gaga. Before
Halsey.
us, we did Halsey, Harry Styles, and I'm pretty sure that one of the years did Dua Lipa as well.
Maybe.
So, I don't know. All in all, because we are getting pretty
Into this episode.
into this.
If you want a part two.
Yeah, let us know if you want a part two. You know, it definitely was not the conventional college experience in any regard. Instead of the big football playoff game, we had the drag show
And the fashion show.
and the fashion
block
show
party.
and the block party. So, I mean, I wouldn't like, the only time I've ever felt like, oh my God, I wish I would have gone to a normal school was watching The Sex Lives of College Girls.
Yes.
Watching that, I was like, I was robbed.
I was like, I should have gone to the University of Vermont.
Literally, I was like, I was robbed. Like, should I go
Yeah.
back and get a master's degree? Like,
Living in the dorms at 24.
yeah, I was like, I literally feel like I missed out on so much. But even then, it's like a fleeting thought. It's like, I really wouldn't trade, like, our experience for anything. I'm sure you guys all feel the same way.
Oh, 100%. I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why I came to FIT, I had achieved my goal, you know, like I have a career in the space that I wanted to, and I met you lovely ladies, and
Yeah.
you know,
FIT brought me you guys.
Yeah.
brought
no
me you
matter
guys.
what.
And as Taylor said, if I had gone to a regular school knowing I wasn't going to be super passionate about something but wanting the experience, I would have gotten tired of it probably after a month or so.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, we'll always have our very unhinged FIT stories. I'll always remember the
Yes.
fashion shows. I'll remember the block parties. I'll remember the drag shows. And I'll remember, you know, having class with you guys before we were even best friends. And
That we're
that's
all just like
something-
figuring out how many classes we actually had together.
we're just figuring out now how many years after we graduated.
Yeah.
So you might know your best friend who you're not friends with yet in
Yeah.
college.
And
Maybe the positive college experience was the friends we made along the way.
you know what?
agree.
You're so right about that.
I agree.
So true.
And one of my, like, pretty much my only personality traits that I studied abroad, and I definitely wouldn't have gotten that experience from any other school. So
Studying abroad?
no, like my study abroad
Your
experience,
study abroad. Yeah.
which will be coming in a later episode at some point.
right now.
I want to talk about it so bad. I want to
Yeah.
talk about it so bad,
And
but
yeah,
yeah.
I want to also stress, you know, we were talking about the cliques and whatever. I've never felt, in terms of friends and stuff, the level of sisterhood as I do with the girls I became friends with at FIT. There
Yeah.
really is a camaraderie there. I think the thing that's specific to FIT, how we mentioned in the beginning, where, you know, everyone's kind of weird and there's a general, you know, everyone judges everyone, but everyone's accepted for who they are.
Yeah.
The people I've met at FIT who I became friends with, I know will never actually judge me for who I am.
Yeah.
Never in a million years. And that's something that I can't say about most other places or schools or,
Yeah.
you know, general events I've been to. There really is a sense of acceptance on such an internal and external level.
Yeah, we're all little freaks.
We're all little freaks.
Just going deep on a Thursday.
But it's true.
It
you
is
know?
true.
It's true because,
is.
like I said, everyone was like the weird kid in their town.
Yep.
And you put them all together in a room,
And you get the freak show.
and you get the freak show.
But it's, yeah, I mean, that's coming full circle. Like, I literally don't know who I would be if I
No.
didn't go there, because I just felt so comfortable, like,
Yeah.
exploring and coming into my own, like, when the time was right. So, yeah.
So we'll leave you with that.
Yeah.
Leave you with that little nugget.
So as we said, if you want a part 2 or if you're applying and you got accepted, congratulations.
Congrats.
So
Congrats.
excited
You're
for
about to have the
you.
best 4 years of your life.
So
You
if
will.
you have any
Yeah.
questions, email them to us, alwayssaidthatpodstories
Or leave 'em in-
@gmail.com, or leave them below, or DM us on any social media. Also will be linked below.
Yeah.
We literally read through everything, so if you want a real raw response, just hit us up.
And we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.